My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And it's been like a little while since we did one of these, but we have an episode where we watched the first episode of a brand new show and are now coming to tell you our thoughts and impressions of the show. We usually do K-dramas, but not this time. No.
Yeah, switching it up.
We're switching it up. Actually, the last time we did this, it was also a Thai drama, but I digress. So we picked up the first episode of the new Thai omnibus series, War of Y, and that's the letter Y, not the word, not the question. And we watched the first episode together. We had a lovely watch party. It was actually quite fun. And now we're here to chat about our first impressions of the first episode of this new Thai series, War of Y.
Yeah, as of this episode, like when we're recording, there hasn't been a second episode, which is why we're only doing the
it's
first
one. It's a one-a-weeker, it's one of those once a week.
And as far as availability, it isn't any obvious place.
Believe in your dreams, okay? If anyone asks where we saw it, your mom's a hoe, okay? Like, I have to say about that. Listen, we all know how this works, okay? We are
bringing you the information.
Yeah, we're just telling you our thoughts on the episode. just keep that in mind. So the show is basically following 4 different storylines related to the Thai BL television industry, and it's 20 episodes separated into 5 episode chunks that are each a different story.
I think on MDL they have the stories listed incorrectly.
Do believe they do because
I'm pretty sure we're watching what they have listed as story 2.
Yes. So I think there's
we still don't know how they're it's set up like they're doing parts, but we don't know if they're actually going to
it looks
connect
like
them.
Everybody's there.
Yeah.
Right? In that first episode, it seems like that's what they've done. Everybody's there, but we're going to focus over here in this corner for now, and then we'll focus over here. I don't know.
And even the what we watched, it was labeled as new ship, and so that is on MDL supposedly story 1 new ship, but I just really don't. It doesn't connect with really what we saw, so it is kind of confusing.
So basically, the first story follows 2 gentlemen who are in a ship together, played by Sangwichai Seifant and Billy Patachan Unsaarde, who, if you watch other Thai BLs, they were the main couple from Secret Crush on You, which I still don't know if I like that show. I watched the whole thing, but I'm still undecided. There's worse.
How long ago did you watch it?
Only 2 months ago.
Jury is still out 2 months ago.
There was a lot that I liked about the show, but the show was hot mess. Just the characters that they played in that show were questionable, but in a very different questionable way than they are questionable in this show. Let's just say that. Different questionable. So they play a on-screen couple who are also very secretly an off-screen couple and are filming season 2 of their hit show, Mafia Baby. Very, very exciting. So the show opens on an award ceremony where both of them are up for an award for best actor in a BL series, but they don't get it because it's won by P, who's played by our just sweet bean Talay, who was from My Engineer, and
which he's accepting an award for
a fake version of My Engineer, which I just think is hilarious. So it's a very self-referential, series.
I mean, the Mafia Baby was very, very,
very clearly.
What I enjoyed about the award ceremony aspect was when they were showing the nominees and stuff. they had like clips, like long clips for Mafia Baby.
Fake television shows. Yeah.
We were like, oh, I want to see Mafia Baby.
I wish when we were watching Mafia Baby, that looks pretty good.
But they had it set up so it looks like sometimes when you're watching it, it looks like you're watching the live stream feed. Yeah. So they'll have like little like things in the corner of people who are pushing like, like or angry faces or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they like introduce, when they introduce people, they kind of showed their like stats on their like Instagram page, so you could see like how he was by far like double the followers that like the other two had, so you could kind of guess why
like he was gonna win. Like, everyone knew he was gonna win. So then you're introduced to these two actors, and then you're also introduced mainly to the character of Pan, who's sort of the main character that we're following, the one played by Sang, his mother/manager. And oh boy, there's some toxic energy between the two of them. Oh my. She's very overbearing, but
very stage mommy.
Very dance mom, like and also you're sort of left to the impression, like, does he want her to be that way? Or is he just used to her being that way? And we haven't quite figured this out. He's also a bit of a germaphobe as well, and has some
not even a bit, a lot.
No, like a huge germaphobe.
Yeah.
And has some like very weird mannerisms that lead me to believe some fucked up happened to this guy.
You do the vibes. The vibes that it eventually gets you to feel throughout the episode is like you have sympathy for him, despite the fact that he lashes out a time or two, definitely towards his manager, like to where wow, yeah, the toxicity. But at the same time, you're like, this has to come from somewhere because the show.
No one's just like this,
Yeah, it's got like more of like a PTSD vibe than it does just like that he's always been that way.
Yeah,
I mean, you could still be like, but it seems like the stuff that he's doing
trauma,
is more exaggerated.
Less, this guy's an asshole. It's more
like
agitated.
Some of the stuff that happens near the end of the episode, you're like, oh, I wonder. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the fear in his eyes a time or two throughout the episode, and it's like you can. It looks like he's thinking about things that have probably already happened to him, but it never shows you, so you're just guessing. Obviously. But you can tell that he's scared a time or two.
Yeah, this is the first episode, so they're not going to give us, everything. Otherwise, why would we then go back and watch the second episode?
Dramatic music.
Oh, very dramatic. I feel like there's been like a real advance in music dramatics recently. Semi-related. I've been watching this terrible show called Unforgotten Night on Gagawilala. It's terrible, but it's fun. But it has a really dramatic score. And at one point, it was playing this like overly dramatic movie, and I'm like watching it on my tablet, and I'm lying next to my husband, and I'm like, "Hey, Matthew, you will never guess what is happening during this music. Like, what is this like dramatic violins, like full orchestral, like." And he's like, what, like someone dying? I'm like, no, it's a dude walking down the stairs. He's not even going anywhere. He's literally just walking down the stairs to go to breakfast. Like, this is anyway, dramatic music has become a sort of, I'm looking at you, Dark Blue Kiss. You did this to us.
Well, the dramatic music usually kicks in before the thing happens, whatever they're trying to build up to, long enough before that you're like, okay, this is a little drawn out compared to when is it happening? And there's almost a horror element if you start doing it too much. Like, what's gonna happen?
I must say, there was this one scene in the episode where so the two main characters, like the two dudes, are secretly actually dating, and they're keeping it a secret from their managers and staff and everything. So they're like, everybody, nobody knows. Like, nobody knows. So there's a scene where they're like meeting up at a hotel. And I'm sorry, they had this one actor playing like the concierge, like at the check-in desk, and the dude's face as he handed over the key, I'm like, that dude knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's like this guy in sunglasses, a hat, and a mask being like, I would like a key to one of your sex rooms, please. And he's like, there you go, sir. And I was just like, this actor has been waiting for this background role Like, he's been training his whole life to be salacious concierge at the Love Hotel. Oh my goodness. I really thought that the two actors did really well, but it looks like it's going to get more dramatic.
I had a little bit of a problem with Muse, that the actor who plays Dude. He's very, very cute and very smiley. Mm-hmm. And so some of the times when he was, I think, upset, his face has like people
natural affability.
He has like resting happy face. So it's like he's like angry, but he looks like he's smiling, and you're like, at the end when he was sort of like really upset over something, and he's almost like, I think crying is supposed to be kind of the perspective, but it looks like he's laughing, and you're like, oh, okay, or like
you didn't know what emotions to have
at the beginning before you even know who he is, and they're at this awards thing, and he loses. Like, he looks really, really happy that he lost, and I was like, okay, I guess he just is a big fan of this other guy. Like, but as you keep going, you're like, no, he just is always smiling. He's always.
I must say, I did really enjoy it. There's this other character that plays like a new actor to like who's joining for season 2 of Mafia Baby, and he's not very good at acting. No. But like, you can tell that the actor playing him probably is good at acting, because it takes like a special talent to act that badly, and just like everyone on set being like, oh, okay, that was
probably the best we're gonna get. Okay.
Let's try that again. Like, the side actors, like sort of like the people playing like the cat, like the crew of this fictional show going on, I think they're all doing an incredible job. Yeah. Like,
very natural seeming, and like
like all the managers,
yeah,
all the manager characters, all very well done.
Yeah. And it's like the lady playing the momager, who's acted by Ty Penpack, Sirikul, excellent. Like,
oh yeah, she's totally that like evil mother-in-law. Like, but she's doing that subtle thing too. Like, it like gradually gets worse during the episode, and you're like, oh man, because like before you're like, well, maybe she's just that way because, and then
you're like,
start happening. You're like,
because like your first sort of interaction with her is her telling off a fan at like this awards ceremony, and then the actor having to be like, oh no, it's okay, don't like. So it's a bizarre, it's like a really weird dynamic that they've set up between this two that I haven't seen very often in shows like this, because like there's several shows that have like bad managers in them, as sort of like these shows that they have about the behind the scenes of the entertainment industry, but like it's never been quite like this, because usually there's the power dynamic is the actor has more power than the manager, but doesn't seem like that's,
or if it's set up this way where the manager has more power, it's usually like the gender is reversed, right?
Yeah,
there's a dude and it's an actress or an idol, like a female idol singer or something, where there's a power imbalance that way.
Yeah, or it's like, because usually it's not the manager, it'll be like the entertainment CEO or something. That's the, but in this one, it's like you can't really tell who is on top in this relationship, because sometimes it seems like he's telling her what to do, but then she's doing whatever she wants anyway, and he just goes along with it, and it's bizarre, and I like it.
Well, and
it does keep you guessing too.
Yeah, like she seems really concerned about the the sex scenes and stuff, and like she's trying to protect him somehow in that, but then there's other stuff going on, and you're like, oh, okay.
I feel like this could probably use your attention a little bit more than the consensual stuff.
Over here in this corner, like, yeah.
And then there's the character of his ship partner / boyfriend. There's some interesting dynamics going on there as well.
I feel like he's going to turn out to be a jerk.
No, I feel like he's already cheating on him. That's what I got through the entire episode.
Yeah.
I feel like the main kid is in love with this guy, but this guy's not in love with him. He's just using him to make
for workshops.
the show better.
Workshops, air quotes.
Yeah, I actually got really spooked at one moment because there was a moment where they had a quote unquote workshop together, and then they woke up in bed, and well, actually, the one character was still asleep. And then the other one grabbed, I couldn't tell if it was his phone or the other character's phone. It was, I think it was his own phone. But he just started recording, like being in bed with this dude. They were, still sleeping. And I was like, that's just bad. Like, bad form. Doesn't matter if you're in a relationship. Bad form. No. Like, really bad form when you're both actors. Like, there's
you're
just
secretly in a relationship.
Yeah. There's something probably gonna try to bring him down or blackmail him or something.
Like it's gonna come out exactly. It's gonna
or even if it's like, even if it turns out that the vibes were wrong and like this guy isn't cheating on him, I sense maybe because secret Instagram account that he has, like a private Instagram account, perhaps gets hacked. There was something released of that nature.
Or just like near the end, they had sent themselves so they were just messaging on their messaging app. And just sending a couple of pictures to each other, and it just with the way it keeps showing these things, it's like this is building up to something. It's not just and the unfortunate thing, and we're thankful for the subs in the first place, but when there's all these messages that are in Thai,
the text messages,
know any of them.
Please, we want to know what they're saying.
The episode ended on like a cliffhanger of something that happened with these messages, but we don't know what it is. We just know that something blew up.
Something real dramatic
commentary
happened.
went really, really high. The like count was going through the roof, but we don't know what that was about.
We don't know. But something wild happened.
Because it sure seemed like he posted a picture and then his shipping partner replied, we don't know what. And then it's like it caught on about something.
I want to know. Like, I'm intrigued. I want to know what.
Like, as if they were he thought he was in his private account, but he wasn't. He was in the professional account or something, and left a comment and
I didn't even consider.
They do sometimes.
I figured it was
But they kind of almost purposely, the show did make them very similar in everything, in terms of where they're at in their careers, because they both had almost exactly the same social media stats. They were up for the same thing. It really felt like the show is kind of showing them as potential rivals, but they're still sleeping together. But
and also their fame hinges on each other. Because their popularity hinges on their ship together and the show that they've just made.
Because they're getting stuff from the fans as a couple, not just one of them just hanging out. And it's just,
I always find that
so wonder bizarre. If this is the one that's called New Ship or whatever. I wonder if that's kind of what's going to happen, if they're going to put the one guy into a new ship and then there's going to be a revenge porn kind of angry, you're more popular than me because the new ship's more popular or something, and he's going to be angry about it. So
and then at the end, when it was kind of doing the teaser for the upcoming episode, it talked about the one character was confronting the other one about, I know that you do these comments because of our ship, and he's like, no, I'm doing it because this is just me. I'm not doing it. It's not fan service. So they were discussing fan service and he's like, I'm not even doing fan service. He's saying he's not doing fan service. So that's just so difficult. It'd be so difficult to navigate all of that.
Yeah.
It would already be difficult as famous people to navigate a relationship ever. But if you're highlighted to have fan service, but then if you're in a relationship or not, it would just be very, very hard.
I mean, we've definitely seen at the beginning when they were getting all these accolades there after the show, after the award show, and people are all excited to see them until Talay's character comes out, and then it's psh, get out of here. Here's the more popular guy. So then in this other ship, the one guy acted like he was kissing his partner or whatever, so that they would draw the attention back over to them. So like he's clearly got a very high focus on popularity and what this ship is doing for him.
Yeah, I mean, like they, especially because the other guy was just popular on his own. He didn't have to have his ship like person there. It was just him, and he was extremely popular and could draw the crowd with just the one person. And then they had to keep on doing stuff together, like hearts and stuff, even though the hearts weren't like he didn't, both of them didn't do the heart together. Did you see that one?
Yeah, like he did it himself,
half heart, and then the other guy was just like no, and then so he kind of like slowly drops.
Yeah, very subtle, very nice.
Yeah.
Which, since that character, to be clear, since that character is the one that ends up, he lashes out more, and he's the one that has all of the tension with his manager and all these things. It just makes you wonder how hurt this character already is, be it PTSD, but also just the things that he's already been through with his current shipping partner. That's the thing. Like the shipping partner, their relationship has weird vibes to where it's like, I'm not saying it feels dangerous and not even just about that photo thing, but just like when they just meet up to say hi, it's just like there's weird tension stuff. Yeah. Like it feels like they're not on the same
one
plane.
Is into this relationship, one is not, or something.
It's very imbalanced.
So the director, this is interesting. The director's name is Chiwin Thanamin Wong-Skulfat, and he has only made BL series, and BL movies his entire, and he's made some that we will so one he was the director of Secret Crush on You, which the two main leads of this part from,
which makes sense.
He also did Why Destiny, Why Are You, Make It Right, and Make It Right Too. Those shows they've cursed me for years. He was the director of Lovesick 2, and also Why, which was what Talay was also in. What a bizarre fucking show.
So is the whole Y thing like something?
It stands for Yaoi.
It's for Yaoi.
Yeah. So Y series or Yaoi series, essentially.
I see.
So
it's just like another term slang shortened. Yeah,
makes sense. Because even at the beginning of this episode, during that awards ceremony, it was like the best of Y. Like that was what it was.
So this is not his first rodeo with the
very young for how much he's been. Yeah, like he's only 29 and he's got so many.
Yeah, and he started directing in 2015, so that's
jeez. But I guess BL has been gaining in popularity, so it's a little bit easier. But yeah, that's a lot.
And
Fluke is one of the screenwriters.
Yes. Not that Fluke. The other Fluke. The other one. Who acted with Fluke in the other movie. You know.
Yeah, so you know. That Fluke.
There's several Flukes, okay? There's but the Fluke of which we speak was
My Ride.
No. That's the different Fluke. That's a different
I just clicked it from MDL, then they're wrong.
It's
I went off of the one that's listed on MDL as a screenwriter.
Yeah.
So are you thinking of the other Fluke?
Are you on the wrong Fluke?
I mean, Natalia's thinking of the wrong Fluke.
Oh, no. Okay, no. He was also the screenwriter of My Ride. You're correct. But there's actually an actor named Fluke who's in My Ride.
Oh, gosh.
So there's a third Fluke. No, I was actually thinking of My Romance, where he acted with the other Fluke. There's lots of Flukes, okay?
It's like Fluke are Fluke and Earth like the main names that like a lot of the BL actors have.
If you click into My Ride, the main role is an actor named Fluke. So I was like, no, not that Fluke. Fluke. But yes, so many Flukes.
I mean, there's like 10 guys named Fluke on the first page of my Dharma list Fluke searches. Like it's
there's like the main Fluke that people think of, which is Until We Meet Again Fluke. Okay. And then this is the other Fluke. It's this one. The screenwriter of this one who acted with main Fluke back in the day.
It's funny looking through the list of flukes, and I realized that most of them, when people talk about them, do actually talk about them by their given name, not their right. Like there's Fluke. Fluke in a Touch goes by like Fluke. He's the Fluke. He's the top Fluke. And then the rest of them are like, they go by Gawain is usually how you see him mentioned, or Tirapat, or like, usually
they realized it would get complicated, which is why
gets to keep his name.
There were like 3 main Earths, and we could Big Earth, Medium Earth, and Little Earth. And Medium Earth has now just changed his name to the Thai word for Earth. So he's now dead, so that he didn't have to be Medium Earth anymore. It's a whole thing.
I feel like it's the kind of thing where, yes, I know this is your nickname in your real life and stuff, but like, if you were going, if you're going into, in particular, like Boy Love, and there's already a very famous Boy Love actor.
Pick a new nickname.
Pick a different nickname, right?
Or even just put another ending on it or something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I hope that this show eventually has a joke like that somewhere. Like that would be awesome.
It would be funny.
We're also gonna be like, which Fluke is the real Fluke? Yeah. The real Slim Shady situation,
And the director's like, Fluke, and he's like, yes, no, other Fluke, yes, no, the other Fluke,
It's possible, like, especially because we didn't like really touch on it. The show does focus heavily on just the world of BL too. Mm-hmm. Like, there's all these things going on and all, like all this like relationship stuff that we talked about, but it does have like moments where it's literally just kind of almost like a documentary on what's going on in BL. So I could like see something like that happening in the like script,
or
just
like an issue being like a new actor has to come up with a new stage name or something.
Yeah. Especially given that one of the writers is a Fluke, like that. Yeah.
Who acted with the most famous Fluke.
So it's probably a thing he's got in the back of his head anyway. So
it'll be interesting to see how they do how intertwined the storylines are or aren't. It's tough to tell from the first episode, because it definitely feels like right now I thought the episode definitely centered on, that couple, that couple that was at the awards ceremony and all this stuff. But then it gave just enough screen time to this like little new actor person that it made
even that one girl. There was that one actress.
Oh, the manager?
Not the manager. She was like maybe one of the actresses that was playing with them. I can't remember her. I don't have stuff looked up, but they kept on. Like, she's younger. She's like their age. She's not a manager. Mm-hmm. But like they were kind of like playing with that as like a potential like. Oh, maybe she tied in. Maybe that's how they're tying in like straight people in the world of BL too, or
because like one of the stories. So there's the 4 stories supposedly, and one of them is wife, and it has to do with a ship if one of the people has a wife and how to deal with that.
A secret.
So it's possible. Yeah. So it makes you wonder, like, if we've already been teased for like a couple of the other.
Yeah, like we've seen all the characters, but like they're not going to show them.
Know it yet.
Yeah,
I like from what I gathered, but like this could be totally wrong. Is that each of these stories is supposed to be like 5 episodes, and I feel like Lei and Muse's characters are going to be sort of the thread through all 5 that they sort of like, because they're the only ones who don't really have a
like they're not listed as
kind of like a
concerns them
Love Actually type thing, except a little bit more defined, like not like so halfway through an episode you get to the other story. It's kind of like
it's which I like that. I feel like there's not I like stories like that.
That would definitely make more sense, because like the story title currently of New Ship, like you don't think it would be attributed to that couple that was at the awards ceremony.
No,
they're not new.
They're doing something else. I think that's just
I feel like they're going to be like the thread that connects all of these stories,
or because
even his like speech at the beginning, like when his acceptance speech in the first scene, like talks about like all the other actors and BL, like, and the stories they're going to tell, whatever. So I feel like that's sort of his role as sort of the pseudo narrator in the Shakespearean tale of chaos.
Or
and
it could be, the demise of the one ship. And then so like the new ship actually like is the like ending of the entire story is essentially that like a new ship kind of prevails as like the leading couple, but like you don't get that until the end of this arc or whatever. I think like the biggest problem with this show is that it's once a week and they're doing this, so it's going to be really hard to kind of keep up, especially if they're doing these kinds of sections because it's once a week.
I feel like for like a better watching experience would be to wait for one story to finish and then watch that, and then wait for the next story to finish and then watch them as like story chunks.
Because it's supposed to be like 20 episodes or something.
Yeah,
so you have a lot of time before.
Stories,
I mean, end of the year almost, probably.
I think it ends in December.
Yeah, that's a huge
payoff for months. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, are we even going to remember that we saw her in the first episode? Like, you know,
especially when we have these types of shows that are like they're so tied together. They're not like very episodic. Like it's not like you know you have your story all completed in once and then move on. I think I could see it being hard for people to keep up with that purely because it's just not like there's just so much involved already that like you'd want to kind of be close to the previous episode.
There's so many characters and stuff that we're getting introduced to, and there's so much going on, and then it's a lot of setup in the first episode. Like there's not a whole lot that happens. There is, but there's sort of like a lot that happens and at the same time not.
But it's all like expositionary stuff that happens.
Getting to know people stuff. And
so I will say, Jessie, I was excited to see, and I feel like you'll also be semi-excited to see that the lady who plays the bar owner of Kid Porsche is in the credits here. So she comes back.
Yes, that's awesome.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah. There appears to have actually nuanced female characters, which, let's be honest, sometimes a bit rare in, you know.
So it even would have, despite the actress who is the main manager that we've seen the most of, despite her being great, it would still be a disservice if that was the only main female character you were ever to see. But we've even already in the first episode seen another female manager character, just like Jessie mentioned. There's a younger female character that kind of seemed.
There's also females on the staff, like in the filming staff too. That I think,
and
like
then
I've seen
really
previews
focused on the one female in the crew, like a lot, like her facial expressions and stuff. Like
and I did see a preview for the wife one. And it seems like they're giving her nuance too, like as you know.
So there's already previews for like the arcs.
Previews for different.
It's been filmed for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I tried to look up some news, but it's been hard. But like, I feel like
these things they like to keep us guessing.
I don't think they have subs on them, but on YouTube there are like the little trailers for each section.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think this would likely be something that Vicky would ever pick up eventually?
I imagine that it would be either that or like Gaga La La, maybe.
I can see Gaga La La.
Yeah, but this would be one that I think Vicky would want to pick up because
I can honestly see Ichi picking it up too.
That's true.
True,
but I feel like if Ichi was going to pick it up, they already would have picked it out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and they don't do a lot of like pick up after
early airing stuff. But like Vicky, I've noticed like they'll pick up like shows after they air. Like for example, they did that with like Cutie Pie, for example, which aired on YouTube. Like probably about 2 weeks after it finished airing, the whole thing showed up on Viki, and they had it edited so that because on YouTube it's they have it in 4-piece chunks, and they had it edited as one like episode rather than the 4 pieces per episode. So I don't know if maybe that will happen, if it'll all show up on a streaming service, or maybe
I can also see that like because there has been some amount of months since at least we know that they were heavily filming this, could even be a year, that during that time they were actually like trying to shop this, and it just didn't get picked up, and so that's kind of why they resorted to.
It's a little trickier to locate without connections, shall we say? Because this isn't even on like sketchy locations that normally people may attempt to find these shows on. It doesn't even appear there.
But it seems like, I mean, it's a big enough show. It'll eventually pop up somewhere more than likely. It would be very strange if no one eventually hopped on it.
And I saw a lot of people, watching it too. I saw a lot of like social media buzz about it, like that, like actual people had watched it, not just like they were talking.
And it is on AIS Play. If you have access to that, you can watch it there.
I could see like part of the reason why Vicky might not have gone for it initially is that like Natalia is sort of the only big name.
Well, unless you're a secret crush on you enjoyer.
Sure.
And then you've got a whole bunch of options.
You know, there's a lot of, they all seem to be very good actors and the quality is really, really good, but there's not like a really, really
big name.
Yeah.
They should have gone for Stuart, okay? Stuart brings the watches. You know what I mean?
But like, let's be real. Vicky heavily favors cute rom-coms.
Yeah, they do.
And so they're going to pick up that, especially like the shorter ones for anything that's not like a Korean drama or Chinese drama. And so I could see why they wouldn't want to pick up this, because it doesn't kind of fall in that, especially if you don't have like, especially the Vicky favorites of the BL actors.
Yeah. So I can see like, it doesn't, besides Natalia, it doesn't really have any big name, well-known, people in it.
It's not like it's like headlining Sing 2 or like
like there's there's people in it that like, for example, it has Pertharina Sarah sorry, I just butchered that poor woman's name, and she was in like Love Mechanics, for example, and Why Are You, she played the little sister on Why Are You. So like there are people, and Why Are You is on Viki, so like, and it's by the same director, so there is a possibility, but
it's not like the actress would be the one that would be the high interest in the BL.
She's not the lead, or in any of these, she's not the lead or anything. So unless you really like Secret Crush on You, like there's not really a big draw, but it's very well made.
But if you want to watch a BL show series that the posters look like an NCT album cover.
God, when Frankie pointed that out on our live, I almost died laughing.
So if you're wondering, there's one of the like image releases or posters of The War of Y was just like all the BL actors like standing, and it kind of only shows like bust level and up. And they're all wearing black and whatever. And so Frankie, during one of our live streams, Frankie mentions that it's this NCT.
Like an NCT poster. And then she posted the NCT poster and was like, "Oh, really excited to watch War of Y." And it was literally exactly the same. Like it was like same lighting, same posing, everything.
So then Natalia found the
picture was like, and here's NCT.
So but funny.
No, it
NCT Thai.
Yeah, NCT Thailand.
Well, so that's the group. That's like, maybe they're just gonna have NCT subgroup. Like
who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like NCT Thailand would be very popular.
The question is if Mark is involved.
Well, of course. Listen, is it an NCT unit?
Even Mark, if it's just like him, like writing all the raps or something.
Yeah, he just like shows up in one.
It has to be 10 and Mark, and then
yeah.
Who knows who else?
10 for sure. No, like what did you guys like overall? What were your overall impressions? Is it a interest? Is it a not really for you sort of thing?
I think I'm like interested, and especially we're too early on like to make a definitive thing, because this was a lot of like information all at once. I will say that I found that the pacing of the episode was not as great, because it was like interesting, then not interesting, but for a while not interesting, and then came back up. And like, so it may be that like the integration between the like central storylines where the drama is in terms of it, between the characters and stuff, it's just not matching the integration of BL stuff, like BL industry stuff. And it's just, but it is the first episode too, so I don't know if it's just because on top of that, it's the introduction of just the world itself too. And it's just, they were all competing with each other a little bit too much for like a hour-ish episode. So there was a lot of stuff happening.
It feels a little to me like, I don't know, just darker than I feel like I want to go. And because I don't know where it's going, you know what I mean? So it feels to me like probably something that I'd be more interested in waiting until it's all out and kind of gauging from other people what the overall vibe is before I go back to it, because they kind of, I mean, strongly hinted, but it's still kind of in the hinting phase. There's some hinting at kind of like sexual abuse of characters and things, and I don't know if I want to get into that right now. So like if that's going to be a major plot line or a focus, then I'd rather just skip over it. I'm kind of curious to see what happens, but maybe I'd just read some recaps or something so I can quickly skim through the bits I'm not comfortable with.
I know that I'm so behind on watching literally anything that, I mean...
Yeah.
Well, that's never deterred me before in my life.
But I will say, in general, I like shows about, like, entertainment industry things, and I find them interesting. So since it is a 20 episoder, I would be surprised if I end up watching the whole thing, but I think I would later on like to pick it back up, especially if it did pop up on one of the main
easier
platforms or something.
Yes.
And if people are like, oh, it's still really, it's enjoyable or it's very interesting
well
still
or something,
I would maybe at least want to pick it up just to even get. It might be one of those shows for me that, like, I enjoy just watching a few episodes, and I'm like, that was plenty. It was fun seeing the little... Sometimes I like just getting a glimpse into a show, and that's enough for me. And this is kind of one of those shows that, for me, would be enough. Since I'm not incredibly into all the BLs, like, it's not as fascinating for me necessarily, but I still like a little bit. It feels almost educational in a way, even though, of course, it's highly fictionalized. But I like the shows that do give... We've talked about that with like the K-pop, K-drama stuff or whatever. Even when it's, oh, this is highly fictionalized, it still sometimes gives you just enough to make you at least think about the other side of things or how managers interact or the potential. Maybe sometimes it is, being aware of potential abuse when maybe you didn't think of certain aspects of that or something. But I don't know. I mean, it actually was of a higher quality than I thought it was going to be. Like, even just the first episode when they were doing the little award ceremony, it didn't feel kitsch or anything at all. It was actually very well done.
So even the like clip of the fake show that was like being promoted was well done. Like,
and then they even show like a teaser to season 2, and I was like, that looks like an actual teaser for an actual show, not like a fake. Like, because sometimes you're just like, oh, come on. Like,
because, so, not to knock the whole, like, so when they're doing the title credits of War of Y.
Okay. I got a little salty in our private chat while we were watching it. The opening credits, they're kind of lazy, but it's okay. Like, listen. Opening credits doesn't necessarily...
Well, I mean, you've got a lot of people you have to put in these opening credits, so...
Well, and I actually enjoyed the fact that they showed moving pictures of the lesser background characters. I thought that was actually very nice of them. But I'm just saying, so far I thought the acting and the quality of the show and things, like, it was actually very, very really well done. So that actually does pique my interest more to return to it at some point. I don't know if I would want to stick it once a week, though, because I think
I don't think I would have fun watching this once a week. I think I have enough already too that I could be like, I'll just like forget about it and then maybe do like a binge or something.
Yeah. So I mean, it feels like a lot to stay. I don't know, like that means it's ending in like December.
It
like
is
that's
December.
A long time from now.
I think I'm definitely gonna do the wait for the first 5 episodes to be out, and then watch that as a chunk, and then wait for the next 5, and then watch that as a chunk.
I think honestly that's the best way to do.
Yeah, because then you just get the sort of the stories as they're presented in this sort of like omnibus system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was going to ask the typical BL episode length. What is it usually? Because like I know
45 minutes.
Oh, the episode length, 45 minutes, and then about 12 episodes. So
yeah,
this is
longer.
It really makes you wonder where they're going to go with these storylines in order to cover 20 episodes of stuff. So I will say the quality of the first episode gave me high hopes for where they will go with these stories, because I think there will be a lot.
But it's sort of different because you're not following one story for 20 episodes. You're following one story for 5 episodes and then 4 times.
Yeah.
So 4 different stories for 5 episodes each.
But I think also with this, they're also highlighting all the things in the BL industry, not just like 1 or 2 things. So we already got even in the first episode, we got, the behind the scenes of like ship partners, and then the management side, and then also just what you have to do to big money people who like invite you to do special things and that sort of thing. So I think it's going to
like fan
really dive into a bunch
media.
I mean, really, just even that it was a very sort of small segment to it. But the concept that like the side characters were shooting their scenes, and then the one manager is like, we're leaving at 5. Whether we get to it or not, we're leaving at 5. And they're like, you're not scheduled till 8. We're leaving at 5. So then suddenly it's like, okay, we're shooting a different scene now because the higher name actors have put their foot down or whatever. And you're like
or like negotiations, kind of like, we see that a lot.
We saw some like money negotiations for the second season now that they're popular,
or even the discussion of like nudity and stuff and how that transfers between the actor or the manager. But the thing is, you're all in front of the people that, so like the pressure of you're in front of the person that asked the question and you're having to make that call immediately. Versus having a closed door discussion of what the actor is comfortable with.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
Definitely. I think I could see them having enough story to fill it all out, especially because they've decided to segment it into 5 stories. Like usually if you watch something like My Engineer or something, it's 12 episodes, but like the first 4 episodes are about one couple, and then the second 4 episodes are about a different couple, and then maybe the third set goes back to the first couple or something. But like they have a tendency to kind of do like 4 or 5 episode story arcs even within that 12. So they're just making it more official, so that you're not like whining about it. Why did the main characters completely disappear for 3 episodes? Like,
I really do. Like, I kind of honestly am glad that they have 20 episodes, because to me, there would be no way if it was a smaller series for me to think that like it worked, especially because of like you have all the like the behind the scenes BL stuff, but then you also have these like dramatic storylines as well. So like you have essentially like 2 lines of stories competing with like 20 different main characters essentially. I think I don't foresee it like running out of like any sort of like thing because it just seems like there's just so much to talk about already. I'm like, oh gosh. It's just going.
It really makes you wonder like all the topics that they will cover. For instance, like the hints that we got just from the one character of it does seem like he's had some past issues that have made him fearful of some interactions and stuff. So it makes you wonder, are we going to go into that later? Are we not? Was that the only peek we're going to get? It was enough. Like, I'm not saying it was enough, but like the audience was made to have sympathy for a reason. And even if it doesn't go into the how or the why, that can still continue on in the future of him having fear, and that still be a thing. Like, you don't necessarily have to be like, this is what happened to him. It can be just having discussions or whatever about future safety or something. There's a lot to cover, seems.
Yeah.
I know. It seems like it's going to be a really intriguing show overall. Like, I'm pretty excited to see where it goes, because of course I will watch the whole thing.
I really do hope that it does end up on a easy to grab international platform eventually.
Yeah.
Because I do think that if it does end up kind of having some of the social discussions about some issues maybe within BL stuff, I think that's actually important too. I like shows that do that because K-dramas do that sometimes, even within a show like Taxi Driver or something, but then it'll talk about abuse situations or whatever in real life and give some resources on. So like it'd be neat if, even though this is a heightened, obviously, show, if it still covers important things about the BL world, I think that would be a really good thing to be available to international fans of BL stuff and just be aware of stuff.
Definitely, because I think some, not all, but there's a big chunk of international fans of Thai BL in particular who have sort of a rosy colored glasses perspective of the boy love industry, of the state of, you know, how people consider gay people in general in Thailand, like that it's super open and very, and that's not really the case.
Yeah, not the case.
And so, like, I think something like that can make it more like obvious and maybe more clear to some international fans that like what they're seeing on the screen is not reality.
Well, and even showing not just the drama of shipping and the real life actors having to ship and things like that, and then the difficulties of that, and maybe just bringing that, maybe people that haven't thought that far about it, and because like it's fine to enjoy ships. You can.
Here's the thing about ships: if you're talking fan fiction, if you're talking fan art, if you're talking whatever, go nuts, ship whatever you want, but don't expect your headcanon to be reality. Like, because I think what sort of this always makes me laugh is there's this actor named Saint, and he's very popular in the BL world, and he was actually the producer of Secret Crush on You, so it all comes back to Secret Crush on You. But he's been in like a bunch of famous BL roles, and then as soon as he's done the show, he moves on to a new show, like an actor. And people are always like, oh, like he's you know, betraying the ship and all this. I'm like, no, he finished his job. He finished his role, and then he moved to his next paid gig, as actors do.
His job is actor. He plays multiple roles. He doesn't
his job isn't this dude's voice.
His job is not entertaining you with like
an actor. And it's like, and if you believed his on-screen character was in love with the other guy's on-screen character, he succeeded at his job.
He succeeded, but also that means he could easily fool you in real life. So why would you want that? Like, it's him faking, obviously, then too.
I never understand with these things is that people love their favorite actors and they're like, they're such good actors, but then they're like, oh, you can't fake that. No,
you can.
You can't fake that.
If they're good actors, they can
get it in your mind.
Either you think your fave is a good actor or you don't. You don't get to have it both ways.
And also, like, people like doing well and having chemistry with each other, it doesn't matter. They can still actually hate each other's guts. Like you don't have to like someone to have good chemistry with them too. And you also you can have good chemistry with someone on a personal level, but you can also have good working chemistry too. You just fit really well. Just like you can have if you're a singer, you can have good chemistry with one specific voice than another. It doesn't
duet.
That's not how things work.
How any of this works. Okay. So don't be delusional.
Yes.
You know, that's we can say.
But I do think a show like this, hopefully because of kind of the way it shows behind the scenes within shipping stuff, that's why I hope that it'll be available to more like international fans, because I think it would be good to get that perspective out there a little bit more. Because for those of us that think through these things and make sure to think of people as whole people and entire actors and performers rather than just pawns, but to show it within a fictional structure would hopefully just sell it a little bit more for some people.
Sadly, as much as we want it to be, we are not every person. So there are people that are in a kind of the negative side of not thinking of humans as humans. So
Yes,
maybe a little.
Celebrities are just humans. They're just people.
They're just not doing a job.
They just have a job.
Well,
it puts them in the public eye.
It's just like when any actor or actress, they get a role. And then all of a sudden, everyone has opinions about that. Be it, oh, they're doing rom-com for the 500th time, or they're not doing rom-com now. Like, they all have it. It's like, here's my job.
Question. Like, oh, yeah, you at your job at, I don't know, like as a kindergarten teacher. Oh, you're teaching kindergarten for the 100th time. Like,
you went into school again today.
Oh my God, like, you really
you started a new year.
Branch out. Like,
that.
Fuck off. I mean, like, just fuck off.
Like picking on Parkman Young for doing another rom-com. No,
and like, hell, man, she gets bank. What do you
like? Unless she has come out and she's like pleaded with us to be like, hey, I really don't want to do this,
so I can get cast.
So I can else. Yeah,
like, I'm gonna.
That's when you can say something, but like, you literally can't tell me definitively she doesn't just like doing those roles. Like. You can't, so she's you don't get opinion on that. Like
enough that if she didn't want to do them, she wouldn't do them.
Yeah, and it's not like someone's like forcing your eyes opening to make you watch them. You literally have a choice.
Watch something else.
I don't know why.
Literally in this day and age, you can watch anything you want. Like,
so that's kind of the negative side of that, the fandom of drama stuff or whatever. As far as people trying to make decisions for the actors and actresses that they enjoy, it's like, no, those are people who have jobs and they get to either choose that job or not, and we don't know all the issues with it. They get to do whatever, and you should just celebrate whatever they do if you wish to or not. It's fine.
It's up to you.
And especially like watching this show and seeing all the little behind the scenes stuff that goes on, and we don't know, like, say use Parkman Young as your example, and then maybe she gets offered some action role and she thinks, "Ooh, this is interesting," and then she sees some of the names attached and goes, "No, I don't work with that director anymore, or I don't," and we don't know, but like, there's probably all kinds of stuff where she's like, "No, I know what that person is like behind this. I choose not to go over there," or whatever, right? So
it could be any number of things. It could literally be that like she doesn't feel confident in memorizing lines that are for like a medical show or something, and like forcing people to like do stuff like that, kind of like it puts people in weird spots that you're like, people are different. Like, you have to let them like come at things at their own time. Again, if she said something, then we will like help fight her, but like for her, but like,
until she does.
She hasn't.
She's an adult.
So
she's an adult who has a successful career.
I could see her very well. Like, we'll know. She'll like chop her hair all off into like some spiky little bob or something, and then she'll be like, and we'll be like, oh, she's going for something different now. Like, this is okay.
I don't mean to make this whole about like, this War of Why episode all about her, but she's big enough that she could like crush productions with one word. I think she's doing fine with picking things for herself. I don't think people at her point in her career, I don't think she's being like pressured into it. And she's made quite a bit, even when like comparatively, when you know that like Asian actors don't get as much as much. Like Western actors. Okay. She's doing quite fine. I've seen the inside of her house. Well, she's doing good.
That's actually something I wanted to mention. So sometimes within a drama, with the PPL, it's obvious that an actor or an actress was probably put in that role because they were already the spokesperson for be it a cosmetic or something like that they really wanted to lean heavily. You can tell sometimes. So like Mighty is Gangnam Beauty with that whole like perfume thing, like that's the way they use this. He was already a spokesperson. Like, it was already a thing. So it's interesting whenever it comes out. It's like, sometimes there's a lot of behind the scenes negotiations that we don't even know that just has to do with money. Like, that's it.
Well, like if that's the main sponsor that you get for your show, and they're like, and our spokesperson needs to have a role, and it needs to be a role that shows up in every episode, and it needs to be, and they're like,
you gotta fund the show,
like,
baby.
If you're like, hey, we were gonna cast this person, they're your spokesperson. So like, if you like did ads there too, like it would be like double the exposure for your like commercial, and then they'll pay more than if there wasn't that person.
And that even happens within the BL stuff. So like even this first episode of Word of Why, we didn't go far into like the sketchy moment that kind of happened near the end, but it was all talking about, it was like a PPL sponsor person to where then even after that interaction, like you kept seeing the product that was in this actor's home. And so like, and you wonder how much that's going to keep being a thing. Cause like, that's also all the relationships that actors and stuff have to maintain. It's often to also have these interactions with sponsors and stuff, even just on a business level. Like they're very busy and not just with recording. Like that's not the only thing they do.
They have literal like live stream shows where they're basically QVCing, but like in sort of a variety show style way in a live stream for like product sponsors. So it's, you know, it's a little different than in Korea. Like it's a bit
that was the whole
wilder on the PPL.
That one Thai drama that I watched earlier in the year where like she accidentally left her camera on and showed herself like puking up the like gross thing that she was trying to sell people. But yeah, like it was very like, so don't forget you can buy this at the, you know, but that's all she did. Like that's her whole show was.
What we're doing now is like, you know, making you think and making you like bring up stuff that you might not have thought of. So I think in that respect that this show is really good.
Quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I really hope that it gets out there more because the production level, like I feel like the amount of money that was spent on this show, like it should get out there more to earn back some of that money.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Had some funding.
It's a well-made show. So anyway, thank you for listening to another episode of the Certified Nunas. We'll be back next week with some fresh thoughts on a completely different enterprise. So stay tuned for that. We hope that you enjoyed listening to us. You can listen to us wherever podcasts can be found. All of our episodes are also on our YouTube channel where we do weekly live streams about various things. In addition, you can go to certifiednunas.com to get links and time codes for every episode that we've ever done. Every single one. And we've been at this for almost 4 years now. So we got a backlog. So if you're new, welcome. You lots to listen to. You can keep your commute Nuna full from now on. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednunas to join the Found Family, which is our Found Family on the web, where we have a good time on the Patreon. And they're just literally the best people. They're literally the best people. And we have monthly watch parties with them. And we put extra stuff up there, you know, the usual Patreon shenanigans. I'm sure you've heard about Patreon before. Anyway, you can reach us out to us on social media. It's always at Certified Nunas. We're primarily on Instagram and Twitter, I think, are the easiest places to find us because that's where we spend all of our time on this earth. Anyway, we hope that you have a fantastic week. Maybe check out War of Why if you can find it. And wash your hands, wear a mask, and as always, keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Bye.
Bye.